All right. Well, welcome. People are still coming in. We're up to 2:45. So this is going to be a big session, and we're obviously glad that everyone is here. We'll give it just a little bit more time, but we are recording it so people can hear the welcomes again. If you haven't met me yet, hello. My name is Dylan Stafford. I am the Assistant Dean, the Director of Admissions. There are 17 of you, the lucky final 17. There are 17 of you for whom your admission to UCLA Anderson is basically 23 hours old or so. So you're the newest members of the village, newest members of the family, newest people in the community, and we're thrilled to have you here. This session is scheduled to go 90 minutes from 5 to 6:30. We understand that we are in between you and playoff basketball, if you happen to like that. And the Lakers are going to start here in about an hour. Russell Westbrook is not playing. He may be one of the more famous active Bruin alumni out there. I don't know if you guys know, he took the Bruins to 2 UCLA Final Fours. He won the gold medal in the 2012 Olympics. And of all of the incredible UCLA basketball team alumni in the history of our proud program, he gave the largest gift ever, which became a lot of the money that created our brand new Mo Osteen Basketball Center. So, but he's actually not playing. And let's see, in the third quarter, the Rockets are up 71-58. So anyway, there's a lot going on, but that is not the point of tonight. The point of tonight is we have not quite everybody, but almost everyone on hand for this information session, and we're going to give you the cutting edge state of the world in terms of what we know about Leadership Foundation specifically and then the fall quarter. So we have about 12 slides that we're going to go through. You're going to hear from a lot of voices. So we have Senior Associate Dean Miguel Unzueta, who is the lead faculty accountable for the academic experience of all of Anderson's MBA programs, our FEMBA program, our full-time program, our executive MBA program. Gonzalo Freixes, who you met, I know it's only been a minute, but the last one of these that we had was July 22nd. Our Associate Dean, who is accountable for the fully employed, the executive MBA, and our global executive MBA program. Chris Thompson, I think you all know Chris, who's our Director of Admissions Operations. Matt Gorlick, many of you have met, but if not, you'll get to meet Matt. He's our Director of Student Development for FEMBA and EMBA. He's also a proud graduate. And Susan Cowell, our Executive Director of Career and Leadership Development. So you're going to hear from all of us that I just listed. Michael Fontanez and Cedric Dicker are here. There's a lot of people. Melissa, Bonnie Kim, many of most of our admissions team. So we're all here to be with you for these 90 minutes. If we can get done early, we will. And if not, we'll use the full time. So this is an info session specifically for you all, our very bestest class of 2023. So we're just thrilled that you're here, and I see that the number just keeps creeping up, which is wonderful and fantastic. So if we could advance to the next slide, I want to tell you about the process. Very important, slide number 2, which is we want to answer all your questions tonight, and we want to use Slido to accomplish that. So we're going to post this link in the chat, and at any point during the meeting, if you have a question, post it into Slido. Please put your name with the question. This is not Stump the Professor time. We want to get to know you. If you have your name, we could call on you. This is one of those systems, if you weren't here last time, where you can upvote questions, and we're going to do our best to answer them all. If we run out of time, we're obviously going to answer the most asked questions and then work our way down. So we will put this link in the chat, and just feel free to post any and all questions. And do keep in mind, we want to know who you are, so let us know. And especially if you can frame the question in a way where it's as relevant as possible to as many people as possible, because we can't offer super specific answers. If those are the case, we can do those one-on-one by email tomorrow. All right, slide number 3. So for those of you who've been admitted earlier, not the 17 people who got admitted yesterday, we're going to wrap up our summer spotlight drive time this week. So on Thursday, we're going to release our final drive time podcast episode. Brittany Blackamore, you see in the bottom right, is she's actually not a 2020. She's one of our alumni. She and Kate Greenberg are the 2 alumni that we've featured. Brittany's story is so inspiring. Everybody's heard of being a first-generation college student. Brittany is actually a first-generation high school graduate. Neither of her parents graduated high school. So not only is she first-generation college, she's first-generation high school. From the start of FEMBA to the end of FEMBA, Brittany created an entirely new career for herself. She set a record for going on the most global immersions and global exchanges of anyone to that point. And on those global immersions and global exchanges, she had this discovery that she loves global economics. And she rewrote her career and did a totally unplanned switch into a totally new industry. And by the time she graduated FEMBA, she had done 2 things. She had doubled her salary, and she had, by that point, become the person in her entire family. She was now making more money than anybody in her entire family ever. And you get to hear that story. And here she is now 4 years later, and she's had another stair step. So the company that she started with after FEMBA, she was with them for 3 years, and now she's changed her career yet again, doubled her salary a second time. So she's got an incredible story about growth and development in her career. And by the way, along the way, she's created a nonprofit called Suitcases of Joy, where she takes suitcases of toys to underprivileged children around the world. Recently, she goes to Africa, but she got the idea on one of her global immersions, actually, when she was in a favela down in Brazil, and later when she was visiting a township in South Africa on 2 of her UCLA global immersions. That's where the genesis of this nonprofit got started. So we sort of saved the best for last. Brittany's story is incredibly inspiring. Samantha and Darcy and our team, we all were just amazed when we listened to her tell her full story. So we're going to release that this week. And for those of you also who've been joining the FEMBA 45, so this Thursday, 12:05, is our final FEMBA 45. We've had well over 300 people participate in the first 6. So those will be opportunities this week. So I'm now going to start to share the spotlight. First person up is going to be Gonzalo, who's going to give you the state of the state about where we are with the schedule choices, the now all online schedule choices that you have all re-opted into in the last 10 days. So with no further ado, Associate Dean Gonzalo Freixes. Gonzalo.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. And so glad to see a lot of you again, and welcome to the most recent admits, or those of you who haven't joined our previous town halls or information sessions. I know there's been a lot of questions about this. As you know, we are going to have a very full class, perhaps the largest class, incoming class ever for FEMBA. And so the sections are filling up quickly, or some have already filled up. And so here, just to go over to make sure everybody understands what they've chosen and whether it was the right choice, let me just go through briefly about each section. Sections 1 and 2 are all-day Saturday sections. We recently created section 2, added a second Saturday section, and these are our all-day Saturday sections. So in regular circumstances, when we're not on remote because of COVID, that section will meet weekly, once a week, on campus every Saturday for 10 weeks plus a finals week. Some finals will be online, but you are expected, if the professor requires, to come an 11th week, if you will, for finals on campus. However, as you know, because of both the requirements of the health authorities in Los Angeles County in California and the university, we will be fully remote via Zoom or asynchronously this fall for all of our classes. So the schedule stays the same. You will be still going to school every Saturday all day. but you'll be doing it remotely for the first quarter. Then sections 3 and 4 are our Tuesday, Thursday sections, right now the most popular. Those meet every Tuesday evening and Thursday evening, generally from 6:30 to 9:45 p.m. For 10 weeks, and then a finals week where there'll be final exams. And again, live on campus. But for the fall quarter, because of the current restrictions, all of these classes will be remote via Zoom. So you will be attending Tuesday and Thursday night, but remotely. And then we have our hybrid monthly section, which is section 5, and that section meets on campus 1 weekend a month. This was our hybrid section even before COVID. The schedule was the same. So in essence, you will come to campus 1 weekend a month, Saturday and Sunday all day. And I think Saturday it's from like 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and on Sunday it's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then you do the additional work in between those meetings on your own time, which typically consists of asynchronous videos. That means you can watch the faculty videos at whatever time is convenient for you, or do online work that will be required during that time period. But your only on-campus requirement will be this once a month. And again, that once a month on campus will be on Zoom in the fall because of the hybrid requirements. In a minute, I'm going to turn things over to our Senior Associate Dean, Unzueta, who can talk to you a little bit about how we as a school and how we as a faculty are preparing for this instruction. And he also has the latest information in terms of the authorities and what we're looking at for the fall quarter. So stay tuned for Dean Unzueta. I know right now there's a waiting list, a long waiting list for Tuesday, Thursday, but I wanted to have a conversation with you guys about a lot of you have signed up or seem to indicate a preference for Tuesday, Thursday, and I would like to share some things that don't make Tuesday, Thursday an ideal section in case some of you want to switch based on the information I'm about to give you. First of all, for those of you that want to do on-campus recruiting, that want to switch careers and perhaps look at something in iBanking or consulting or marketing or tech, the training, the sessions that the companies will have for on-campus recruiting, those take place during the week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday evenings. So it is incompatible for you to participate in on-campus recruiting and attend class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So what we end up having, and now this does not take place till the fall of your second year, but because of this, we have a lot of requests, usually in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 requests for students to change from Tuesday, Thursday to Saturday. And we aren't
over here, buddy.
Okay.
Oh my God.
We aren't always able to accommodate those requests. So for those of you that are looking ahead that definitely want to do on-campus recruiting, you may want to consider starting with Saturday rather than Tuesday, Thursday. Secondly, we've noticed that a few of you that have signed up for Tuesday, Thursday are out of area. Now, perhaps you're moving to the area, but, and that may be because in the fall you're going to be remote. So you figure, oh, I'd rather have a Tuesday, Thursday schedule because I can beam in. And that's true for fall quarter. However, for winter quarter, we might be looking at a hybrid model with some on-campus classes. And for spring, we hope that we'll have a vaccine by then and we'll be able to return to live instruction. We don't know yet. We're waiting to see what happens in society and with the health authorities and with testing and a vaccine and all of that. But the point being is that at some point in your core class curriculum, we hope to be back to live instruction. And at that juncture, you will be expected to come to campus live. And again, switching to another section, that other section may be full. So if you are out of area, you may want to sign up for the Saturday section because when we resume live instruction, that may be more that might be better for your schedule, or the hybrid section, although we have more room in the Saturday section. So those are the sort of the kinds of things. Now, having said that, we are going to slightly increase the capacity for our Tuesday, Thursday sections to 80. And so there will be a little bit of additional room for the Tuesday and Thursday sections. And if any of you want to switch from Tuesday, Thursday to Saturday, based on the information I just gave you, please email the FEMBA admissions staff and they will be happy to make that change for you. There is still room in the second Saturday section. Now I'm going to turn things over to Dean Unzueta, who can talk a little bit about the latest word from the authorities and what the online experience will look like for you in the fall.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for dialing in this afternoon. Like Gonzalo and Dylan said, my name is Miguel Unzueta. I'm a professor of management here at the Anderson School. I'm also serving in the administration as senior associate dean. So it is looking like there will be an official announcement very soon that all of UCLA's academic content will be moved completely online for the fall quarter. This is coming down from LA County Public Health Offices. These are the rules that we all have to follow since we live here inside LA County. I do want to assure you, though, that ever since COVID forced us to switch to online in March of this past March, our faculty have been very diligent about adapting and learning this new software and this new mode of delivery. This summer, I've been hosting trainings and seminars for our faculty in which we, along with a course designer, have been talking about redesigning our syllabi, learning how to more effectively use CCLE, which is our online class portal that you'll be interacting with. And so there's been a huge, there's been a lot of steps forward in terms of our ability to use these tools more effectively. So our faculty are fully aware that the online experience is not what any of us prefer, but we're all committed to making it as best as we absolutely can. Since we have time to make adjustments in preparation for September, what we're seeing now is much more thought and design going into the way we are doing this. To be perfectly blunt, in March, when COVID hit the US, we basically had to make that switch. I think we had 10 days to do it. And so a lot of it was putting things on Zoom and experimenting and seeing what worked and what didn't. And despite that, we had an incredibly successful spring quarter. And I'm excited about this next quarter because now we've actually had time to think and rethink how we're delivering our content and how we're doing our classes. So expect a high quality quarter. Our faculty have not lowered their expectations whatsoever. If anything, a lot of us are realizing that there's a lot of things we can do on Zoom that we could not do in person. So even though it won't be the same, and I personally can't wait to get back into the classroom, we are learning that it's a unique methodology to deliver coursework, and we're all trying to become expert at doing that. And so expect a high quality academic quarter coming at you this September.
Thank you, Dean Unzueta. And this question came up during our EMBA admissions event that we had about a week ago about, gee, is this going to be like an online MBA? And it's really, really not. I want to make sure that people know that. The traditional online MBAs that are done at other universities, other business schools that do tend to be a little cheaper, they are usually done by outside vendors who actually take 50% of the tuition from the university. And they have very low level visiting non-ladder, non-research faculty teaching these courses. It's a very different experience. Whereas in our university, you only have primarily research ladder faculty teaching the core classes. So you're in the classroom with the faculty that is doing cutting edge research in this field. Or adjunct professors. A couple of the classes are handled by adjunct professors who have a vast level of experience, many of whom also have a PhD in their field and do research in their field. So, so the experience, the content, the materials you're going to get, even the opportunities to network will all be there. It's just the modality is going to be a little bit different. All right, Dylan, thank you. And I'll turn it back over to you. And we're happy to answer some questions about this when the time comes.
Yeah, and the questions are coming in great to Slido, so thank you all for that. I think many of you know him, but if you don't, it's my pleasure to introduce our Director of Admissions Operations. If you can imagine the worst first year of your job, well, this is Chris's first year running the entire Slate infrastructure along with Aaron Wimberly and the rest of our team. But Chris and Aaron do all the heavy lifting of managing our admissions CRM. And so now Chris would like to share with you a little bit and give you an update on some of the adjustments we made to get more people into the stats one-day workshop. Give you an update on that. Chris?
Thank you, Dylan. Hope everybody can hear me. I think I unmuted already. So basically, we've been responding to an increased demand, and due to the order of classes, we've made a move to postpone the Excel workshops, as you can see on the slide here. What that allowed us to do was add 2 additional dates for the statistics workshops in September, the 6th and the 20th. So what we're hoping is that, that is going to help more people start the program on the right foot. The way we're going to do this, because there was a wait list, we will be reaching out to the wait list tonight. If you're on that wait list, you'll get an email from Ellen in our EMBA program. She's going to invite you to register. We're asking that you act fast so that we can send another email tomorrow to everyone else. We're expecting these to fill up, and we are doing our best to provide these opportunities, and we will continue to try to fit as many people in as we can as the workshops come up next month. So stay on the lookout for that, and we hope that you guys can take advantage of these workshops. One of the big things we do want to emphasize on the last bullet here is that the courses that we've offered, we have a 7-module course. And the for Excel and for math and stats, those are obviously more robust, and we hope that you guys can take advantage of those. There is no capacity issue with those courses, so we really hope that you could take advantage of that. If you haven't already enrolled in that, you can still enroll, and you have plenty of time before school starts as well. Those classes you also have access to for the entire year. So that's something that we really hope is helpful, and we're excited to offer those to you this year. As you can see, the last little bit of information I want to make sure you guys understand is there are 2 different levels of the Excel one-day workshops. So when we offer those again, you will need to take the first one to be as a prerequisite for the second one. So they build upon each other. And the last thing I'll say is that if you were in the Excel workshops that have been postponed, we're most likely going to have to take registration again through the program staff, because that's going to most likely take place when you're actually a student. So just stay tuned for any updates about those workshops coming up in September as well. But thank you for being patient with us as we continue to do our best to modify things in real time. Thanks, Dylan.
Chris, if I may also add, we do have, as you mentioned, a very robust Excel course online. So for those of you that really want to get get up to speed on Excel, don't wait for the workshop. Go ahead and sign up for the online course, which you can sign up for at any time and take at your own pace, and so that you can get the background in Excel as now and not have to wait for the Excel workshops. We had a capacity issue with faculty that could teach it with Professor Ravitch, and so we felt that it was more important to get the statistics workshops available to everyone, and we will even increase capacity in the existing workshops if we need to, if the remaining 2 workshops sell out, which we don't know if they will, but we hope to accommodate everyone in the statistics workshops that wants to take it.
So thank you, Chris, and thanks to everybody. We just had record participation in the math and stats course, and it's great, and we really want that to support you. Next up, Matt Gorlick is the one and only Matt Gorlick is a 2013 graduate of FEMBA. He was going to be a Disney lifer. If you've heard his story, he had an epiphany during school that he loved delivering the environment of education, and he did a hard right turn and has reinvented himself as an incredible university leader. And you're going to get to know him really well throughout the 3 years of the program. He's going to be a resource for the leadership development that you will be experiencing while you're here. So to give us an update about all things leadership, we'll welcome Matt Gorlick.
Thank you so much, Dylan. So hi, everyone. I've had a chance to meet many of you, and the rest of you I will meet at the future Propelling Your Leadership Career Workshop and then at Leadership Foundations. Really looking forward to that. So I wanted to give you some updates about Leadership Foundations and some of what else should be on your radar in the coming future. So first up, a change in programming. So I've gotten many questions from you all about the Workplace Big Five questionnaire. First of all, thank you so much for being so on top of that. That's awesome. Now, the Big Five is an example of a self-awareness tool, one that we've used in the past to really help you build your leadership skills, your self-awareness, help you work better with others. There are a bunch of factors at play this year that are causing us to put a pause on this. And we're going to refocus the time at Leadership Foundations to kind of more broadly focus on team dynamics and specifically focusing on team effectiveness, team efficiency, and really building trust on your learning teams, especially in this remote environment that COVID has put us in. Now, I'm sure you're all aware the team experience is a huge part of the MBA. In fact, almost everything you do at Anderson is going to be on teams, whether it's your learning teams in class, clubs, case competitions, GAP, BCO, and on and on and on. And this has no doubt been complicated a bit by COVID, moving everything to the remote environment. However, I do want to sort of set the context that as FEMBAs, most of the interaction you were going to have with your teams was going to be remote anyway. So it's not necessarily a huge change, but it is admittedly a bit of a difference that we do want to focus on. So the plan right now is to spend quite a bit of time during Leadership Foundations talking about Anderson teams and ideally how you can extract the lessons from Anderson teams to your non-Anderson teams, your teams at work. And then the plan is to move forward with the self-awareness assessment, ideally in winter and spring quarters. And we'll have more information to share on that soon. So again, thank you for being so on top of what's on your checklist. And you do not need to worry about that specifically at this given point. Now, the next box on here, intergroup dialogue. This is a new component for orientation that was recently added to all the programs. So orientation for the full-time MBA, for fully employed MBA, executive MBA, and even beyond our master's programs and I believe our PhD programs, they're all going to include what is called intergroup dialogue. And intergroup dialogue is a really neat, really interactive session focused on the ability to work in diverse teams at Anderson and of course beyond Anderson at your job. This programming will be training as well as live experience. And it is something that we have done a little bit in the past in various places at Anderson, and it's now been streamlined into orientation again for every new student at UCLA Anderson. This was not on your radar. And so the reason why it says urgent action required is because there are 2 dates that we are going to be offering intergroup dialogue. They're all in September, in between Leadership Foundations and the start of the fall quarter. There's a Saturday and a Sunday. You get to pick which session you attend. You do not need to attend with your section. You do not need to attend with your learning team. It's not related to that at all. So an email is going to go out tomorrow morning with information on these dates. And there will be a link, a Qualtrics survey link for you to go to sign up for which session you want. Please make sure you sign up for one. You do not need to sign up for both. And we'll have more information on that as we get closer to the actual dates, which are about a month away. Additionally, and I know that this is not news, but the specificity is news, there is a January follow-up to Leadership Foundations. We have the specific dates now, and those dates are by section and by learning team, because you're going to be in a new learning team in winter quarter. You're in a team during Leadership Foundations and fall quarter, and then you're in a new team in winter quarter core classes. So you're going to need to attend the session with your new learning team. These are all in the evening or on the weekends, so they should not conflict with work ideally. The dates will be in the email going out tomorrow as well. There's nothing you need to sign up for just other than marking your calendar. So make sure that's on there. Ideally, that will be where we introduce the self-awareness assessment, and we'll have more information on that coming up. Before I wrap up, I just wanted to remind you all that outside of the curriculum, you have a ton of resources. Whether it's team effectiveness, working with your learning teams, whether it's just general kind of team coaching, self-awareness coaching, you have a lot at your fingertips. And even though this is remote, it doesn't need to necessarily feel that way. And so I just wanted to sort of offer myself as a resource to you. Again, you may have no idea what I'm talking about, especially those of you that haven't met me yet. But once we do talk more at Leadership Foundations, feel free to schedule appointments. Happy to talk more about your specific situation and your own leadership. And then finally, speaking of leadership, just another plug, Leadership at Anderson is our Anderson-wide leadership development program. We're going to talk a lot more about this at Leadership Foundations, but I wanted to just prime this with you. If you are looking for yet another extracurricular opportunity to make this first quarter and the rest of your 3 years really powerful, please sign up for Leadership at Anderson. It's essentially an executive coaching program, and it's a really powerful way to apply your Anderson coursework with everything going on in your career at the same time, which is essentially the FEMBA model. So lots more information on that coming at Leadership Foundations. If you have any questions, if you don't have my email, it will be in the email that goes out tomorrow. Please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'm really excited to talk to you all and get to know you all a little bit better at LF in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Matt. There's so much that goes on around here around leadership, and Matt is really putting a framework against it all the last couple of years to make it more pathway friendly for you and for your own growth and development, for your journey while you're here. Next up, Susan Cowell is our executive director. She runs the FEMBA Career Services team. And we have, if you don't know this, some people aren't aware of this incredible benefit that is specific and unique and only for FEMBA students, which is we have a dedicated team who focuses just on the participants in the fully employed MBA program. Because the career development needs of a person who has a job are very, very different than the career development issues of an unemployed full-time MBA student. So Susan and her team are, talk about a resource. These are the folks that if you've not yet done Propelling Your Leadership Career, you'll all get to meet on Sunday, the day before Leadership Foundations, those of you newly admitted, and you will get to know throughout the entire 1,000 days of FEMBA. And you will benefit from knowing Susan and her team. These are the folks you call when you need to have one of those conversations with the boss about the money. You do not have those conversations without first talking with Susan and her team, or you'll just lose thousands of dollars in foregone benefit that you would have been able to access if you follow the guidance and the advice of Susan and her team. So with no further ado, Susan Cowell, our executive director.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Dylan. Just wanted to say hello again. And I know that a lot of you are already working with our coaches. Our team, we are all executive coaches. We actually also deliver the Leadership at Anderson program too. And so we look forward to working with you as executive coaches. We talk to you about anything from, I'm looking for a new job, I want to move up in my company. As Dylan said, I want to negotiate or talk about a raise in my organization, or along the leadership development lines. Hey, I want to change my branding in my organization. So there's a lot of things to think about. And of course, there's a lot of people who are interested in on-campus recruiting too. So we definitely help you in that arena. We are looking forward to seeing you at Leadership Foundations, our entire team. We do look a little different than that picture, but you're going to meet our whole team there at Leadership Foundations. And we have a couple of events that are going to be kind of fun for you, knowing that things are virtual this fall. And so we want to give you some tools, thoughts, ideas on how to really network effectively in this kind of virtual world. So we're going to have an event hosted by one of our coaches, Pam, who's going to talk about 10 reasons why recruiters are not that into you, and how to fix your LinkedIn profile and really how to make it pop. Jackie's going to talk to you about creating your audio log and networking online. So, you know, we all talk about tell me about yourself, but online, it's even faster, quicker, and you really want to get your brand across easily. That's what we're going to see you about on Tuesday and Wednesday during LF. On Friday, we're going to get into some details about on-campus recruiting, because we know a lot of you are at the very least interested in seeing what that's about. And that will probably look a little bit different as well as companies reach out virtually again to get to know you and for you to get to know them. So we are going to look forward to seeing you at Leadership Foundations on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So thanks, Dylan. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Susan and Pam and Jackie and Matt, for all that you do for all of our students. One of the joys of these summer spotlight drive time interviews has been hearing people's appreciation of those key conversations that they had with you and your team at those key moments that really unlocked the door for some of those big stair steps, such as Brittany doubling her salary twice during the school and the immediate 4 years after. So, we can't do this without you and your team, all of you. Thank you. All right. So now, along with Cedric, that handsome man right there is my partner in all things fun. Cedric and I, along with Chris and several others, back in regular time, we organized trips to the Rose Bowl, a couple of those, but we organized a lot of trips to Poly Pavilion. Cedric is a Bruin from undergrad and is the leader of the week of Leadership Foundations, along with Michael Fontanez. And this will be my 19th Leadership Foundations. I started work at UCLA 2 days before Leadership Foundations in 2002. This will be Cedric's 6th Leadership Foundations. And the person in the background that you're not seeing right now, Michael Fontanez, who has the overall accountability for the week. Michael Fontanez, this is his 21st FEMBA Leadership Foundations. And we love Leadership Foundations. This is perennially one of the highest ranked experiences out of the entire 20-course curriculum. The faculty that you are going to get to meet from the organizational behavior discipline are some of our real stars. And they're going to start this conversation with you that week. What kind of leader am I now? What kind of leader could I be? And then what can I do with these 1,000 days of discovery, these next 33 months of my life, such that I can fulfill on that new higher aspiration? So the in-class experience is phenomenal. And then the faculty give Michael and Cedric and the rest of us the chance to just layer on as much extracurricular impact as we can, also in partnership with our FEMBA Council. So I don't want to give away everything because we still want to have some great surprises. But as you look at the screen, this is what we are building out for you for, 2 weeks from today, we'll already be on Tuesday afternoon. We'll already be a day and a half into it. So again, you want to clear your calendar this week. Do not think that you can do work and do this at the same time. You would be cheating yourself. You would be stealing from yourself if you tried to do that. There are 2 weeks during the 33 months that you need to take off work. One of them is this week. Later on, you need to take a week for your research for the Global Access Program. The rest of FEMBA happens on nights and weekends, or it's flexible. There are only 2 times we ask everybody to be together. This week, and then, there are only 2 weeks where we ask you to take time off from work. This week and the research trip. And so just don't cheat yourself. Clear your calendar, take vacation, ask for paid time off. You're going to be getting 2 units of academic credit, so you should definitely ask for paid time off versus vacation. But if you have to use vacation or PTO or A days or sick days, great. But give yourself the gift of this week. Yes, you're earning 2 units of academic credit, but more than that, you're going to meet the other people in the class of 2023 in a modality that you won't get to experience for the rest of the program. And the rest of the program, you're going to meet people for sure, but everybody is going to be busy and go in 100 different directions for the rest of the time. This is that sacred space where we're all going to put the out of office up and we're going to be here now with the faculty, with each other, and we're going to accomplish. The full-time program takes a month to do what we're going to get done in a week. It's a very intense week. And so I can't emphasize enough, don't shortchange yourself, clear your calendar, be here fully for this experience. So just the high level, Monday, August 31st, we'll send you all the specifics. We're going to have a welcome from Dean Tony Bernardo. A lot of you in the Slido are asking for, tell us about our class. Well, you got to wait for that. your class is still being formed. As we told you, 17 people admitted yesterday. Final decisions have gone out. Raymond Murata on my team, who you know from all of your outbound communications, he and I work together for the next week and a half to run the stats and really get the snapshot of your class. So we'll be giving you all that. You'll go straight in that afternoon with your faculty. You'll be in class the very first day. Our FEMBA Council, we have one of the most active student governments of any MBA program that we know of. You're going to meet the leaders of FEMBA Council that very first night. So an action-packed first day starting late morning. I think we start at 11, right, Cedric? This is where I needed to make sure I don't misspeak. But we'll give you that calendar. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, you have everybody does everything, but you'll either be in A or B schedule. So as you see, you'll either do an Anderson team workshop. Some of you will do stand and deliver with me. So you'll alternate Tuesday morning. Some of you will be 25% of you will be doing Anderson teams. 25% of you will be doing stand and deliver. Then you'll reverse for the afternoon. So that would be your Tuesday. And then your Wednesday, you'll have the 3 modules of remote learning, best practices, our academic student affairs presentation. Dean Unzueta is going to deliver a specific understanding the case method. So that'll be your alternate. That'll be your morning on Wednesday if you've done either Anderson teams or stand and deliver on Tuesday. Then for Wednesday afternoon, again, Susan just spoke to, you'll be meeting her and her full team for some additional workshops above and beyond propelling your leadership career. And then we're going to have a virtual treasure hunt where you and your study group are going to journey around the U.S. In an online modality with this treasure hunt. You'll be competing against other teams. There will be cash and prizes. So that's the Tuesday, Wednesday schedule. And again, it'll alternate. You'll either do A or B, and you'll either do AM or PM. So it's complicated, but we'll get you all where you need to be. And everyone will come together Tuesday night for a FEMBA alum success story. I won't tell you the name yet. This alum is 15 years graduate from the program, class of 2005. She was our student body president. She's now the president of an entire division of the bank where she works, and she's just an inspiring story. Work-life family balance. She was married during FEMBA. She built her family afterwards, and she really is one of these people that you want to surround yourself, one of these people who does it all. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday. Then Thursday, Friday, you come back with your faculty. So the faculty that you start with Monday afternoon, you come back Thursday morning for the continuation of their teaching. That's Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, we're going to have the practice of Anderson leadership. That's going to be Matt and Dean Heather Caruso. And then Thursday afternoon, you'll be working out your forming, storming, norming, performing. You're going to be getting a sense of each other in your study group. You know, what kind of support are we going to be for each other this fall? You'll hear me say more about this, but you are now the CEO of your own life. You're the CEO of your own career. And one of the very first things that CEOs do is learn how to build a circle of excellence around them. Trusted advisors, people in whom you can have deep trust, to whom you can go with complexity, from whom you can receive wisdom. That's what CEOs do. And your fall quarter study group is your first practice of building a C-level team around you, and not just receiving, but also reciprocity giving. So that's Thursday. Friday, you'll be back with your faculty again for the completion of the academic component of Leadership Foundations. Then we'll have our on-campus recruiting introduction. We'll have the FEMBA Council leaders back with you explaining how FEMBA Council works. Many of you are going to want to be a participating leader within your section. There are different roles you can run for, be nominated for. That'll all be explained. Continuation of leadership at Anderson. Again, we're just explaining so much to you this week. We'll have a fall faculty introduction. So the 2 disciplines of organizational behavior and also data and decision will introduce. We'll have a senior representative from each of those faculty introduce the fall quarter faculty. We'll have a formal close to Leadership Foundations, and then we're going to transition into a very fun virtual social happy hour and that'll get us to the finish line. So that's, without giving away too much, that's the week. It's an action-packed week. There will be optional social events every night that you guys will organize on your own. Some will be facilitated by the upperclassmen. Much of it will be done organically by you yourself. So you want to give yourself this week. And again, for those of you who've been admitted the last 6 weeks or so, there's also Propelling Your Leadership Career is the Sunday before. So that is the FEMBA Foundation's Leadership Foundation's experience for FEMBA. Cedric, anything I left out that you'd want to emphasize?
No, I think you got it, everything on there, and just like Dylan was saying, just everybody make sure you clear your calendar for that week, because we've got a full week of stuff for you. So we're looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
And one of the components that historically would have been one of those days is the physical ropes course experience. So obviously we're postponing that to a future date. 2 elements here that we've never done before that are new additions. FEMBA Council, James Fang, those of you who've been doing the FEMBA 45s, James is one of the executive board members for FEMBA Council. He's class of 2021. He's been with Accenture for the last 8 years, and now he's doing a pivot out of consulting. Actually, he's reinventing his career. So you've met James. He and Caitlin and several other leaders have created what will be introduced by email in the upcoming days. But to give you a teaser about it, I don't want to not do justice to this, so I'm speaking on behalf of James, but it's Battle of the Sections. We're going to have fun getting to know your section mates and working as a team. So this is an opt-in, optional bonus assignment. You don't have to do this. But if you want to do this, it's going to be fun. And how it will work, each section will record a virtual music video, maximum of 40 minutes, of any appropriate song. Let's keep it PG-13. Coordinate among your section to record, compile, and produce. Singing, dancing, props, creativity, all highly encouraged. You'll upload your video onto Vimeo and send the link to James, as listed here, by Sunday, August 30th at 11:59. So this will be a pre-Leadership Foundation's opportunity. Videos will be judged by creativity, section participation, entertainment, quality, and energy. And the winners will be revealed at that Friday night social event. So the virtual happy hour that we'll have together Friday night at the completion. So you're going to get more about this, but I wanted to plant the seed for those creatives in the group who love this kind of stuff. It's a chance, and there'll be more to come from that. So thanks to James and Caitlin for the flyer and the whole construct, because they've been working on this as part of our launch of FEMBA. Last thing, this one, myself, Samantha, Darcy are going to be offering. So the way we crowdsource nominated the drive time stories, the stories we've told this summer, well, we're going to give you a chance to crowdsource nominate you. And you say, but what? I haven't even started the program. How could I possibly be crowdsource nominated? Well, the point of Leadership Foundations is not just to orient you to the opportunity of the faculty and the opportunity of Anderson, but it's to orient you to the opportunity of the gold that's in each of you. Everybody says it, and we're going to make it really real that week. The network, all MBAs know this more than any other graduate program out there, that so much of the value is in each other and is in the network. So what we're going to be encouraging you to do is, as you get to know each other through the entirety of this week, you're going to be thinking, who are the amazing people in my section? All right, because you're going to be in the 5 sections that were talked about earlier. So there's going to be about 75 or 80 of you in each section. And we're going to send 5 surveys by section the week after. So we've been working with this incredible vendor, StoryTap, setting up a contract so that you can do a first-person telling of your story if you are one of the nominated people. So obviously we want you on your best behavior anyway, but even more so than that, we want you on your best professional behavior this week, because you're actually auditioning, because there's 80 of you. We won't have enough slots for everybody, but we'll figure it out. There's going to be between 5 and 10 people per section, exact number to be determined, who will be nominated by their peers. So we'll send a survey the week after Leadership Foundations, and yes, you can nominate yourself, but you'll also be able to nominate a couple of your peers, and we'll let the people with the most nominations will be those who get nominated. So it adds a little bit of a performance opportunity to the week. You know, how do you distinguish yourself when everybody in the room is a star? How do I respectfully distinguish myself? Well, we're going to suggest that servant leadership is a way to get there, but we're going to give you a whole lot of other frameworks and paradigms. So those are 2 bonus assignments. So back to Gonzalo, and we're right on schedule. We got 8 minutes left. We're going to start the Q&A at the top of the hour. So let me stop being excited about Leadership Foundations and hand back the slides to Gonzalo.
Great, thanks, Dylan. And it is going to be an exciting week, and we're putting in a lot of components. And there are even some networking and social events that our FEMBA Council is preparing that aren't even on the schedule yet. So there's going to be, I think there's like a game night or something like that they've got cooked for Wednesday. So I know we're getting a lot of questions, and we've had a lot of questions about, you know, tuition and all of that. So let me address those issues quickly and succinctly. So first of all, I want you to know that the tuition that you'll be paying, that we actually originally before COVID, we had the typical cost of living increase weaved in, but our dean decided that given all of the uncertainty around COVID, both in terms of our inability to have live instruction and the economics, we decided not to implement that, and we're actually charging you the same tuition that the entering class had from last year. So that is a little bit of a reduction in what was planned. And I'll give you the numbers in a minute. Also, we get questions about discounts. We get that all the time. And it's a UC policy. There are no tuition discounts because we are remote learning. You are still getting all of the instruction, all of the content, a lot of the networking opportunities, the executive coaching, the career coaching, et cetera, that you would be if you were live, just that the modality is different. And so there is no actual tuition discount because of remote learning. So if you really feel like you want to get a full live experience and you want to defer for next year, you can do that. The deferral deadline is this Friday. And normally you wouldn't be able to defer, you'd have to reapply. But the university has allowed us for 1 year and 1 year only to allow deferrals. I'll talk about those dates in a second. You might also be wondering, well, gee, aren't we saving some money in terms of foods and events that we would normally have in the fall, some of which are affiliated with leadership foundations? And that it's true, we are saving that money, if you will, but we're not just keeping the money, we're actually setting it aside and providing other opportunities for you, some of which we're doing things during Leadership Foundation, like our treasure hunt event that we don't normally do. In order to provide more opportunities. And then we hope that when you do come back to Campus Live, we'll be able to provide some additional benefits with those funds. And then just to get into what do I need to do to register, if you haven't already, obviously you pay your $2,000 deposit and do your intent to register. And then that will be credited towards your fall tuition. The tuition I was talking about will be $41,000 for your first academic year. It doesn't come out exactly evenly because you have the extra 2 units in fall of Leadership Foundations. So your fall tuition is about $14,000 and then about $12,800 for winter and spring. You can get detailed information about that at this link, which we will share in the email, in the correspondence that's going out to you. So that's the situation in terms of tuition. And then here are some key and important dates, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. Probably the most critical dates, the most critical day right now, or dates, is this week, August 20th and 21st. I'm going to start with the second box here, and that's the last day to waive out of UC SHIP. UCLA has its own health insurance called UC SHIP. It is available to you. So if that's something you need to do, you should find out more information about it. You can go to you'll be able to go to UCLA Medical Center, to the Arthur Ashe Center for your routine health appointments in case you get sick. And so that is available to all of you, but we understand that most of you probably already have your own insurance through work, or maybe signed up for an Obamacare plan if you're not working currently. So you do need to affirmatively waive out of this. Otherwise, you'll be charged and billed for it for fall quarter. So it's very important that if you do not want UC SHIP insurance, you waive out by August 20th, which is just 2 days from now. Also, your fall fees are due then. Your tuition is due then. Somebody asked about an extension, and there might be a slight grace period, but right now the university is requiring fall fees to be paid by the 20th. And obviously, if you don't pay within the 20th or a few days after that, you will be dropped out of the Leadership Foundation's course. Then August 21st is your last day to defer the start of the program. And Chris, is there a link that they need to do that, or is it just an email to you in terms of deferral?
What we're doing, Gonzalo, is just make sure they notify us. But if you want to defer, you go back into your admission notification, you decline your offer. You say, I am declining my admission offer. And in the reasons given, say, I would like to defer to next year. So that's the action that you take. And then you want to make sure that I am aware of it so that I will get you queued up so that we will bring you back in about 6 weeks, because you'll actually be then admitted in round 1 for next year. So the person who did your welcome call, your case manager, either Christy, Roy, Raymond, Chris, or myself, check with us. We'll send you the instructions. It's about 2 minutes of your time, and it'll be about 30 minutes of your time this fall. So it's this year we've never been able to do that. This is a COVID thing, but we have to know by this Friday. Otherwise, you can withdraw, you can reapply next year, but it will not be an automatic admission roll forward deferral. So this, as Gonzalo said, is a big decision week. We'd love to have you this year, but you got to decide if this is the year for you. UCLA is not going anywhere. We'll be here next year. It'll all be great. This year is going to be different, exciting. If you want it, it's going to be great. If you want to wait, it's going to be great next year too.
Thank you. Then, of course, Leadership Foundations Week will be August 31st to September 4th, which is not that far away. And we're excited to have you guys join us. And then fall quarter itself will start on September 24th, which is a Thursday. So if you have a Thursday night class, if you're Tuesday, Thursday, you're going to kick off the quarter, if you will. And then the Saturday folks will join 2 days later. And then the last day to change your study list is October 16th. Melissa or Cedric, I don't know if you want to address what this is, because I don't know what this is referring to.
Oh, this is just if they have any changes to their enrollment. So there's registrar fees associated, like a $5 add or drop fee. It's just kind of a standard Fridays of second week.
Got it. Yeah, after second week. For example, if circumstances change and for some reason you can only take one of the 2 classes this fall, you do have the option to do that. You obviously would then have to slow down the overall MBA, because then you'd have to retake the class next year and then retake the second year core the third year. So, but it is possible. And so those decisions have to be made by the end of the second week of school. All right, let me continue here. And that's it. We finally got through this just on time, 6 o'clock. And now we'd like to basically open things up for questions. Let me put up the Slido link one last time, and then we will get to the questions. And I will call upon you if you gave us your name, and in case there's a follow-up, and then I will either answer the question or turn it over to somebody who can. So let me pull my Slido questions over here, refilter them. We have a good question that I will turn over to Cedric or Michael. Please review the dress code for Leadership Foundation and for classes.
So it's funny because I was thinking, oh, with everything being remote, we won't have this question. So I had taken all this information out. But ideally, the way that we would be if we were here in person would be, kind of, business casual. And, you can maintain that, for Leadership Foundations and for class, and you'll be fine. Of course, I know everybody's probably used to the Zoom mullet these days, business on top, party on the bottom. But if you feel comfortable, dressing up, for work, or if you want to be a little more relaxed, that's okay. Just keep it professional, and I think hopefully everybody should be able to manage that.
Yeah, and we're all a little bit more relaxed now that we're on Zoom, as you can tell. But we do have like a very important guest speaker and all of that, so you don't want to be in your tank top and flip flops. I guess nobody will see the flip flops, but. So yeah, business casual. Will immunizations be required for fall quarter? Again, Cedric or Michael, if you could address that.
Yes, immunizations are required by the Ash Center. So you would have to follow their policy listed on their website.
Right. Obviously, health and keeping everybody safe has become a very important question these days. So they do now have this. So you have to dig up your immunization records. Let's see. Third question, will tuition be lowered given the whole program is online now? I think I addressed that already, that it won't be, other than the small adjustment that we did make. Jonathan Buckley, you have a question. If you're here, why don't you give us that question live so we can get to meet you?
Yeah, so hello. I took a proctored exam on Friday. It was for just software administration, and it was a very bad experience. I ended up
Jonathan, was it a live proctor or
it was a live proctor through PSI.
Yeah.
It was just really bad, and I was wondering what the exams are going to look like in the fall.
Sure. Well, right now we did work last year with a vendor, with two vendors for proctored exams, and so some of the experiences were positive and some not so much. And we did it with midterms. We didn't do it with the finals. And so we've been working with our vendor to kind of fix the kinks that had occurred, and most of them were small kinks, with one exception where there was a class where there were some major technical difficulties because of COVID, and the fact that they were onboarding a lot of people. So we're in that process. We hope to have that solved. And so we may very much have the option to do proctored online exams. And if not, some professors, like I know Professor Kim Gina, who will be teaching you accounting, she likes to do what I call the poor man's proctoring. She will just make everybody be on Zoom, and the TA or the professor will watch you take the exam, just to kind of keep everybody a little bit honest. And the other thing, Jonathan, is that you guys are paying a lot of money for this program. So why would you want to cut corners and cheat yourself of education? Grades are not that important anymore, as long as you can keep the 3.0 or above. So, but thank you for sharing that. So we are very much aware of that, and we are actively working with one of the two approved UCLA vendors to make sure that it is not the experience that you had.
Yeah, tech support before the exam was not great.
Yeah. And what we usually do is we have everybody do like a fake exam, like a 5-question exam, tell us if the following is red or blue, that kind of stuff. And then people actually go online and with the proctors and go through the whole process so they know the system before they have to do it in their statistics class. So thank you so much.
Just to let you know, Miguel posted the immunization requirement. If you're not watching the chat, we're also adding answers to prior questions into the chat.
Thank you, Dean Unzueta. Will all textbooks be digital? Will they be on Route Shelf or on Pearson? Print permissions, all of this. Michael, I don't know if you or Cedric or Itze can talk a little bit about this.
I can answer that, actually.
Itze, you're a program manager. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm currently working with the fall quarter faculty. Not all faculty decide to use course readers, but some do. So once I have that confirmed with the faculty, I will be sending out an email with all of the instructions for you guys.
Right. And for textbooks, generally, most textbooks publishers will give you the option to do either a digital version or you can get a live book or, a hard copy book. Mm-hmm. But, with our situation with the post office and all of that, they are taking a little longer. And so just be aware of that and make that decision as soon as you can in case you want to order a live book. Kevin Chung, you have a question about Leadership Foundation and grades. Where are you, Kevin?
Hi there. Hi, everyone. I'm in the Bay Area in Palo Alto, and I'll be in the section on Saturday, section 1. So good to meet folks who I haven't met yet. And my question was solely just around whether the course itself was a pass-fail or a letter grade.
I believe it is a letter grade, but I'll let Dean Unzueta address that a little bit.
Yes, Leadership Foundations is a letter grade course.
Yep. And the reason for that, it used to be pass-fail years ago, but it is a core required course. And so the faculty felt it was important for people to take it seriously. So there is a deliverable, and you're judged primarily on that deliverable, which is like a self-reflection piece.
There's also a very direct tie-in between Leadership Foundations and your, it's 409 in FEMBA, right, still? The Organizational Behavior Core class you'll take this first quarter. Those two classes go hand in hand. They were designed together. And yeah, they're both graded, and it just made sense to put them on similar scales.
Jared Lopez, do you want to ask your question? Are you online?
Yes, I am. I'm still here. So my question, I don't know if you can answer right now, but it's about the class profile. If you can release like GPA, GMAT, that sort of information, and total class number or estimated class number.
It's going to be hard because we won't know until deposit day. Right now, we do have over 380 students in the class who have deposited, which is the biggest class ever. But we do expect that typically between now and Leadership Foundation, there will be, as we call, some melts, where some of those folks decide to defer or not come this year. And so we do expect that number to go down, but it will still be probably 5 full sections. In terms of the class profile is going to be a little different because of the testing freeze. The last segment of the class came in without tests. But we were looking then more strongly at things like GPA and undergraduate performance, other master's degree, work experience, and things like that. But we will publish this information. As Dylan said, this is kind of a surprise reveal. But there's only one reason why we have such a large class.
Yeah, that's going to be my follow-up.
Yeah, because we got a significant increase in applications unexpectedly. And we had so many really highly qualified people. To compare, last year's entering class was 276. And right now we're at 381. We've had classes, in the 250s all the way up to 346 was the biggest class ever about 4 years ago. We decide the size of our class on the quality of the applicants and getting in the most qualified and diverse group of, in all respects, like industry and of course, making sure we have gender representation. We should have the highest number of women ever in the class, which we're very excited about, the highest number of underrepresented minorities in the class. And so I won't reveal any more, sorry, Dylan. But the main reason is that we got the opportunity. We didn't want to turn away all these really highly qualified people. We did turn away a lot of people. There were a lot of declines, or excuse me, a lot of denies as well. And so anyway, so that's about as much information as I can give you there. So we're very excited about the class. We're very excited about the class. All right, the next one's anonymous. How has the school maintained class quality compared to years given GMAT waivers? What does the class profile look like compared to previous years? I guess same question. Yeah, so we just answered that. So the GMAT was waived, but it was waived based on other factors like undergraduate GPA, quantitative degrees that you may have, or quantitative classes taken previously. We're also putting into place a very robust tutoring and TA review session program it'll be available. The TA reviews will be available for all our students. For any students that are coming in that don't have that quantitative background. So we're going to be a little bit more proactive in making sure everybody is ready to succeed. Let's see what's next. The EMBA student informed us that they have a $3,000 decrease in cost from Anderson. Why do they have a decrease? Why not FEMBA? The answer is lodging. That's the plain and simple answer. The EMBA program has a lodging component that's paid for as part of the tuition. So we're not allowed to refund things like, event, things where we're going to spend on events. We are setting aside that money for you and spending it in other ways, some currently, most when you come back to school live. But this is something that Berkeley and us, our EMBA programs, we had to go to the CFO of the UC system to get approval for this. And it's because the students won't be here and there's associated costs because of the residential nature of that program. So that's why, yes for you, yes for them, and no for FEMBA and no for full-time, because it's only that residential portion. Okay, anonymous again. How big is the incoming FEMBA class? I think so. We have a betting pool, and our betting pool, I think right now is hovering around 353 in terms of what the size of the class will be. But obviously, it could be bigger if all of you decide to come, which we're happy to have you. But clearly, we're happy to have you next year if for some reason you need to defer. Why is this the largest class ever? I answered that question because it's the largest number of highly qualified applicants ever. How many applicants did we have, Dylan? Applications?
With the one today that I think we're at 820.
At 820.
So it's technically the second largest. We had 830. This is only the second time in the 32 years of FEMBA that we ever had more than 800 people apply. The last time we had over 800, and the only time prior to right now was the last time the economy fell apart. So in 2008, we had 830 applicants. So we've only ever had over 800 people twice, right now and back then.
And this is industry-wide, particularly in California. So Berkeley is starting with about 322 students compared to 275 last year and 250 the year before. And, you know, I have a weekly meeting with my counterparts at Berkeley, Kellogg, Chicago, Booth, Texas, Rice, and Michigan. And this is something that's happened across the United States. I think particularly in California, because a lot of you guys are in the tech industry and you've been able to keep your jobs and continue working remotely. So you can do this now. Okay. I'm going to continue here. Give me a second. Fall tuition is still due August 20th. I don't know, Michael, is there any additional information about, you know, if there's any grace period or anything like that? Or Cedric or Itza, do you know anything about that?
There's not a grace period that I'm aware of.
Okay, so that is still the due date, guys. Can the tuition deadline be extended for students who have employers sponsoring their tuition? Employers only now processing payment due to recent posting. I don't know if Issa, you can address, you know, how we work with employer reimbursements.
Yes. So if you have employers who are sponsoring, please contact Deborah Shin. She's the one that manages our sponsored students, and she can help you out with that.
Okay, maybe you can provide Deborah's email in the chat room, and then work with you so that we can, you know, postpone that date because of the employer reimbursement or the employer sponsorship.
Sure thing.
Liz Watts, you had a question. Oh, I think it's the same kind of question, but go ahead, Liz. I'll give you the option anyways.
Hey, I was just wondering if, because it seems like some things are already running out, like we just had the Excel cancel because so many people wanted to do stats. Does this mean that the large class is going to cause ramifications when it comes to social distancing in class?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, because the number of admitted students is so large, we've added a section. So last year, the entering class the last 2 years was only 4 sections. You guys are going to be 5 sections. So we've increased the sections so that the people, you know, the classes themselves won't be that bigger than what we've had historically. And then we did have a plan in place, which if some of you attended our last town hall, where we were going to have hybrid instruction, and we were going to split the class into two of our largest classrooms where we could fit up to 36 people with social distance. So we do have the capability. We have some large classrooms, some of which are event spaces that have been converted to classrooms with added technology. And we are ready to put that into place in winter if we're allowed to do hybrid instruction in winter. And so we will be able to do it with social distancing guidelines and masks and check-in procedures and hand sanitizers and all of that when the time comes, Liz. So thank you. That's a very good question. Anything else from you on that?
Nope. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, what happens when we're late on the August 20th fall payment? I don't know the answer to that. Bonnie, is Bonnie here?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Oh, hi, Bonnie. This is our assistant dean who runs.
Hi, everyone. If you have any concerns specifically about your account, because there is some steps that our program has to go look into for holding your classes, please talk to your admissions case manager, because we can't just do a blanket changing of the date, because the campus has a due date of August 20th. So if you have a specific issue, please contact the case manager.
Yep, and then we'll make some, arrangements, if you need a few days grace period. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Next question, can we plan to be remote for winter quarter 2? I don't know, Miguel, if you want to weigh in here. I would assume that the answer to that is yes.
Well, the answer to that is we have no idea what's going to happen next week. So we definitely have no idea what's going to happen in January. I will say that there will be conversations like the ones that we have had going into the fall quarter that are basically going to start the second the fall quarter begins.
But I think the question is along the lines of, if somebody doesn't want to come to campus winter quarter and we do have some hybrid live classes, can they opt to just stay remote? And I think the answer to that is yes, right?
Yes. Yeah. Unless there's like a miracle and everything goes back to normal and this nightmare ends.
Yeah.
But that's probably not going to happen. So yeah, the answer is probably yes, but be prepared for a lot more updates throughout the quarter as we assess what the situation is.
All right, next one is the gender ratio pretty even across all 5 sections. It's interesting, right now, again, this is just based on deposits. It is even across 4 of the 5 sections, almost the exact number. And then it's a little higher in one of the sections. I'm not gonna tell you which one. So the good news is that there's no section that is, significantly out of whack with the overall percentage. As I mentioned, it's going to be about 38% women, and the sections I think are all, if I do some quick math here, are all at least 30% women, and one section is almost 50% women. Michael Rizzo, you had a question.
Yeah, and I know you don't have the answer or crystal balls, but like, is there a certain measurement or criteria, whether for just UCLA or even the whole UC system, where they say, if we get to this point, then we're going to go hybrid? I mean, have they been clear about that? Because I know it's not just UCLA, it's all the UCs, and I assume we're taking our direction from the entire UC system, which is taking it from the governor, et cetera, et cetera. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think Miguel can best answer that because he's on the committee that actually has the pulse of all that. Even though the answer is not going to be maybe as precise as you would want.
No, I know. I'm just looking.
Miguel, you're muted.
What does Miguel's crystal ball say?
So I'm not a public health guy, so I just want to go on record.
That's fine. That's totally okay.
So what I've been hearing from what the county is assessing, I think it's like it needs to go, is it like infection rate per 100,000, something like that?
That's what I thought.
And it needs to be below 1% in order for us to even think about returning to life as normal. And LA County is like well above that. So it's something like that. I would actually look more closely on the LA County Public Health website and just see what their reports are. And that might give you some clues. But from what I've heard on the committees I'm on, I think it's 1% contagion rate or something like that they're eyeing. But again, I'm not speaking with a level of scientific rigor here that is,
I just posted on the chat room the link to the COVID risk
level. Yeah.
The threat level right now, which is orange. And I think, if we're orange or red, we're all going to be remote. And okay. So when it gets to yellow and green and reaches some of these levels, then we'll probably phase in some type of hybrid instruction where, like what we had planned that, for fall, if we were allowed, where, you come in for certain classes and stay home for others, and we'll split you into 2 classrooms and the professor switches and all of that. So, but
yeah, and I know there's no magic answers. Nobody knows. Miguel, you said it best. We don't know what's going to happen next week or next month.
Yeah.
I just wish we had, like, not from you necessarily, but from our officials, if this happens, we reopen school.
I know.
Something simple, you know.
And that we'd have something uniform across the country.
Exactly. It would make it a lot less, not as stressful, but just more, you could plan, right? Here's what we're going to do.
Just so you know, and I'm pretty sure about this figure, but I think at least there's been more than 100 people that have tested positive for COVID on the UCLA campus, which includes some of the students that came back, athletes and all that kind of stuff. So we want you to be safe, and we don't want the disasters we've seen somewhere else in the country.
Sure.
We're all
thank you.
Yeah. I so much look forward to the day when I can meet all you.
I know. I think we all do.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Well, thank you all. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you're doing. I know it's a tough situation.
Thanks, Mike.
What do Jeremy? Is it shirts? You had a question about finals?
Yeah, it's shirts like what you're wearing. You're close. You're right there. So this may be a question more so for the instructor as opposed to you. But what is finals going to look like? Is the schedule, the structure? Are we going to be taking it during the class hours, or is there special type of hours for the finals itself?
I'll answer the generic schedule, and then I don't know if Miguel wants to weigh in here. The normal schedule is you have 10 weeks of instruction, and then you have an 11th week, which is finals week, where you come in and take your final. If it's a like a typical class final, sometimes in some classes like marketing or something, you might be doing a project and turning in a project instead of doing a final. And so the final will still be scheduled for that time. Miguel, I don't know if there's any additional information, and it might be online or it might be a take home. I don't know.
Yeah. Am I mute again? No, I'm good.
No, you're good.
Most of our instructors have changed their final format to accommodate taking it remotely, or they switched it to like a case analysis versus an in-class activity. When it happens, it really depends on the class, but bet on happening in sometime between session 10 and week 11, something like that. You're going to have to talk to the individual instructor. You should also start checking the CCLE sites that might be getting updated as of now. You might start seeing draft syllabi where you can get a sense, at least for what they did last year. So you can do stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
But all that should be getting posted relatively soon in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, as soon as you guys get enrolled, you'd say, I don't know, like when will they have their like emails and have access to CCLE and all that stuff?
The emails, those are generated when they finish their tech orientation. So make sure that everybody does that. It's part of your checklist.
And that's what they're going to do before they do leadership foundations, right?
Yes, absolutely. This is definitely part of your checklist when you are admitted into the program.
You have to set up a tech orientation with one of our tech folks to make sure that all of your devices are set up the right way and that you can access Anderson resources and the course learning sites. Great question. Thank you.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was actually going to voice you for Dolly, but go ahead, Dolly, since you're on. My apologies.
No worries. Thank you so much for advocating. I think the main concern is midterms. They're going to be like, I was looking at the course structure for organizational behavior as well as data and decisions. Basically, there'll be midterms coming up within 3 weeks of when we are in classes, or 4 weeks. So like, what is the structure? It's coming sooner than later. I think finals are a little ways out, but I'm more interested in like how we're going to handle the midterms because it's pretty quick. As soon as we join, I think like 1 month will fly by very quickly.
But each professor will handle it perhaps differently. So, some may just have a take home that you have to turn in by a certain date. Like that's what I do in my classes that I teach. Other professors will have a proctored exam. Others may just have, a lot of the professors will put an exam on the course learning website, and you go in at a prescribed time, or you go in during a period of time and you have 2 hours to complete it. And, then you finish it at your own pace. So it'll depend on the professors, but we've been doing this a while now. So we've been doing it in our executive MBA program, and we did it in spring quarter. So we all have kind of settled into what we think works the best.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and unless the OB class changed dramatically since I last taught it, it doesn't have a midterm.
Right. There you go. Okay, there's a question here from Myron. I'm not sure, Myron, if you're here.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Hi. I was just wondering, for peace of mind of those of us with tuition concerns, you mentioned that those monies will be deferred for future programming. Can we expect any sort of transparency or updates on how that's going to be our peace of mind?
We will give you updates once we've settled on the things. But for example, just to give you an example of what we did for the class, the continuing students, is we added some money to their Bruin card accounts. So when they come back to campus, they can use that to buy food. For example, we diverted some funds to hardship fellowships in the spring quarter because some people lost their jobs. And although we're not setting up a hardship fellowship program, if people are in a situation where they've lost their jobs and they're in a dire circumstance, they should reach out to our financial aid office to talk about loan options or potential fellowship options. So we set aside some funds for that. We've added at least the Watson Adventures treasure hunt team building activity, which obviously has a cost, to leadership foundations, which is something that normally we don't do. We're still going to have the ropes course, the live ropes course at the end of the year for you. So we're saving the money for that. So those are the kinds of things you'll hear about, and you'll hear a lot more in the fall once the dust settles on what our plans are. But rest assured that that money is being earmarked for you guys.
Got it. Thanks.
For the benefit of the class. Kathy Hagman, do you have a question about associations and clubs?
Hi, yes. I'd love to know how and when we can join them.
All right. I don't know, Michael or Cedric, do you want to talk about the club fair and all of that?
Yeah, typically we have a club fair the first week of the quarter, and with doing it virtual, we're trying to work it out with the EMBA program so that we can share resources with them, because we want to have maximum attendance at that fair. We'll also be talking to the full-time program to see what they're doing. So we're still in the phase of trying to figure it out and seeing when the best time to have it is. We obviously want to have it before the first club meeting, because that's typically the most important meeting of the quarter. And so we'll be sure to do that. Right now, we're going to be in the next week or so meeting with some student leaders to talk about some dates to target. So we should have more information probably by Leadership Foundations.
And the idea being, you'll have a club fair so you can meet all the club representatives and find out about the clubs. You know, we have a lot, you know, professional clubs, identity clubs, you know, social fun clubs. And then you can make a decision about what clubs you want to join and then participate. Almost all the major clubs have a FEMBA vice president that tries to, you know, coordinate club activities specifically for the benefit of FEMBAs. The nice thing is that a lot of the club activities are during the day, because, you know, they might be more of a full-time student-focused club. But now with Zoom, everything's going to be remote, so you'll be able to participate during your lunch hour, which is when typically some of the clubs have activities. Although we also have evening activities and some weekend activities. And some of the clubs, like our biggest club, which is the Entrepreneurship Association, they will have some dedicated Saturday programming as well at lunch. So yeah, you'll have that opportunity. The one word of caution, Kathy, and that's it's going to be like a lot of candy in the candy store. You know, you're going to want to join all of them, and, you know, time-wise with work and school, it's more realistic to maybe join 2 or 3 at most. So you just might have to make some difficult decisions.
That makes sense. Thank you.
No problems. Michael Vargas, you had a question that was liked by 10 people.
Hey, yeah. So real quick, I just had a question because I didn't know about the recruitment scheduling for the second year. If we're put into section 3 or 4, which is the Tuesday, Thursday for this first year, are we able to switch after the first year? Because the Tuesday, Thursday works fine for me this year. I don't mind switching after this year, but
Gotcha. Yeah, the answer to that is yes. We do ask people in spring quarter who wants to switch, and we're generally, but not always, able to accommodate everyone that does want to switch. But the idea is that because the sections are pretty full this year, that capacity may be more limited. And so it isn't guaranteed. So which is why I suggested that, if in your mind, there's not that much of a difference between Tuesday and Thursday night or Saturday. And by the way, we've got some feedback from the Tuesday and Thursday people. You might be noticing I'm kind of pushing you guys to move to Saturday so that we can accommodate everybody. How do I phrase this? People are more tired on Thursday night than they are on Saturday morning. So keep that in mind because you're working all day. So another factor. So if it's not, right now it would be helpful to have people switch to Saturday so that we can evenly accommodate all the sections. If it's something that's not a big, strong preference for you. And these are just some considerations. So yeah. So, yes, to answer your question, the answer is yes, but not guaranteed. How many students in each section? It's going to be somewhere between 70 and 80 in each section, roughly. Maybe the second Saturday section might be in the 60s. So just to give you an idea of that. And we're putting some things in place for things like class participation and all that to make it a little bit more palatable online and all of that. Anonymous, one-day online workshops are filled to capacity. I think we addressed that during the session that we're opening those up. Will the videos be available to view after? I'm going to work with a faculty member to make that available. So stay tuned on that. Are there plans to add an additional Tuesday, Thursday session due to high demand? There are not. Guys, here's the problem is we've already increased from 4 to 5 sections, which has impacted our faculty capacity. And so, it would be really difficult to add a 6th section at this juncture, but we're waiting to see what the final numbers are. So we should be okay. We should be okay. But, and you do have the option to defer if you absolutely must have do or die Tuesday, Thursday, and you aren't able to get into this year. So, or you can get on a waiting list to switch. Why so many late admits given the GMAT waiver? All the universities pushed back their deadlines to June because of COVID. Everything changed with, no people not being able to take the GMAT and all this stuff. And it's just taken this long. It's just taken this long. People applied, they still had documents coming in, things of that nature. So this is very, 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 very unusual. We're normally done by July 1st. Okay, so this is an interesting, Katrina, is it Katrina or Katrina? Do you have a question, Katrina Keys?
It's Katrina.
Okay, Katrina, why don't you ask your question? It's a great question.
So I'm personally, and I'm sure others are paying, financing my school with federal loans, and the disbursement calendar says that my first disbursement gets dropped on the 21st, which is after?
It's the day after, yep. I'm pretty sure that's okay, but go ahead, I'm sorry, finish your question.
I was just gonna say, so how do we do that, and what do I put on that little checklist that, is keeping us on track of everything? I just want to make sure I don't miss anything since.
Sure. I don't think G is on, right, Bonnie? Was she invited?
She was
No,
invited.
G's not on.
Yeah, she's not here. She's not here.
Bonnie, do you want to take a stab at this question? Because
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? Sorry.
The question is that student loan.
I'm here.
Oh.
He's here, yay!
We have a lot of people on this call.
We have our director of financial aid who knows all these answers.
He's our expert.
Yeah, so the loans are dispersed on the 21st. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. However, the UCLA Registrar's Office knows that disbursement date is after the payment deadline date. So if you're paying for your fees with financial aid, loans, or fellowships, then you are fine. Don't worry about the 20th deadline. Yep. The aid is dispersed on the 21st in the evening, so you could see it on the next day.
Yeah, the computer knows if loan money is coming.
Okay, great.
Thank you. That's a great question, Katrina.
I had a follow-up on that, Gonzalo.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing the split, so I'm paying half with the Stafford loan, and then half I'm actually just paying out of my pocket.
Yep.
Do I just calculate the half on my own and pay some tuition?
Yep, I believe so, but I'll let you answer that because G's the expert.
So you could do that, but there is a fee for the unsubsidized loan and the Graduate Plus loan. So you can deduct the fee and make sure that you have the correct amount. If not, you can email me or Connie and I can figure it out for you. Or you could, I mean, ideally you pay by the 20th. If not, you can pay on the 22nd because you can see the disbursement amount at that time and you will see the exact balance.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, any plans for an additional Tuesday, Thursday section? No, sorry. If you have any broken, we send you gift packets, and if something was broken, like somebody had a broken coffee mug, we're so sorry. Please let us know right away, and we will be happy to send you a new kit or a new coffee mug. I just want to make sure I haven't missed something that popped back up to the top of the list.
Gonzalo, Aaron had reminded me in the chat, and I didn't see it till right now, to just let people know that the schedule that you choose is for the year. You don't have to re-choose each quarter.
Right. No, yeah, basically, once you're in a section for fall, that is your section through and including fall of your second year. And you can only switch by requesting the quarter before and if space available. So it is important to kind of make a decision of what section do I want for my year and a quarter of FEMBA, not just what's best for me for this fall. Okay, we answered this, answered this, answered this. Getting down. How are we doing on time, Dylan? You're muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. We're a little over. I mean, officially we're going to 6:30, so.
That's fine. We're happy to stay and answer some questions.
Yeah, but I mean, if people need to leave, we totally know, you know.
There's a question about login credentials for the Red Shelf.
Yes. So a lot of students have actually been emailing me about this. They usually receive the first email that the reader is ready to be viewed, but they don't receive the second email about the temporary credentials. Just go ahead and reset your password where it says forgot your password, and you should be able to log in and view the reader that way. If you have not received any links, let me know directly and I can work with Course Reader Solutions so that they can manually input you into the system.
And guys, if I'm not mistaken, when you first sign up for the UCLA system, you're going to use a password, which that's what you'll be using to access the course learning website and the library and all sorts of stuff. And so just make sure you know what that password is, because you know it's really hard to change that for some reason. Videos for the stats and math workshops. I'll try to make those arrangements, but remember the online math and Excel are open and there's no capacity there. Okay, would it be possible to have the January segment of Leadership Foundations? Matt, this is a question for you if you're still here. Would it be possible to have the January segment of Leadership Foundations inclusive of all sections so we can finally meet each other in person?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. It's a virtual session, so
Yeah.
It's not going to be in person. There will be opportunities to bring everybody back. I'm sure
we're hoping we're hoping in spring quarter we'll be back live, and then we will do the ropes course, and that's where you all get to come back and meet each other, and we'll plan some great activities together. And that's where we'll use some of that money you were asking me about. Is this email femba.admits@anderson.ucla.edu monitored? There's been a lack of response for many questions. I don't know if Chris or Aaron, you want to answer that?
Well, I'll answer it. Yes, we monitor it, and we've gotten a lot of email the last 2 weeks. So,
Yeah.
we appreciate your patience. We are human beings working out of our living rooms. So, we love you, and we want to answer your questions, and we got a lot of them. So,
Well, hopefully,
we're doing our best on that.
Hopefully, after tonight, a lot of these questions will be answered, and so
yeah,
we apologize for that.
Everything's been answered as of Monday. So I was on 0 emails on Monday. So if you have something else, please let me know.
And when we do your welcome call, what we internally do is we kind of, the 5 officers who do recruiting, we assign ourselves to you all, and we're a resource also, because I just get very jealous of Erin's capacity as a person accountable for the unit, because she has some high integrity outputs that she has to bring from our faculty over to graduate division to get everything processed. So yeah, there's just a lot of moving pieces this year uniquely. So if you don't get an answer to a generic email, please use us specifically as people. That's another way, because we want to get you answers as directly as we can. So please be proactive that way. And I know I have 113 unread emails right now, so I know I owe you some answers. And we do want to answer your questions.
Okay, next question, Luigi. And this goes back a little bit to Myron's question. But Luigi, you want to ask your question? If you're still online. Luigi, we're not hearing you, so you're either not here or you're muted. Okay, the question is, with all core books be provided online similar to Leadership Foundations? Well, the answer is that, most books and readers will have an online option or a digital option. Michael, we're providing the materials for this Leadership Foundation, which is different from past years, correct?
Yeah, we are providing an online version of the reader. Students are welcome to purchase the reader if they want a hard copy, but for the reader we're providing, they can download it and they can print it at home.
Yep, and this is one of those little benefits that we decided to just incur that cost as a program. So yes, the answer is most of the other core book and reader requirements will have a digital option, but those have to be purchased because that's not included in the tuition. When will we get invited to the official FEMBA Slack channel? Boy, I don't know the answer to that one.
I'm not even sure if we have an official channel. I know there's an unofficial one that's been super helpful for folks, but I don't think we've ever actually created a FEMBA Slack channel, but I could be wrong.
I don't know if anybody's here from FEMBA Council, are they? I don't think so.
Or Samantha or Darcy. Some people were here earlier, but I think they may have.
Yeah, they might have, because this is mostly student run. We don't have like an official one because we don't want to be reading your stuff, Should we expect to have homework and group projects at night during Leadership Foundations? Any best way to schedule safe meetups with local FEMBAs? Well, Miguel, can you answer the first question since you've taught Leadership Foundations before?
Yeah, there might be some case preparations that you'll have to do in between sessions. My recollection, though, is that most of it was individual work. As far as what you do with local colleagues on your own time, not on campus, that's your decision. It doesn't involve us.
Yeah, we can't control if you want to get together socially distant with masks at an outdoor cafe to share a cup of coffee or a beer. Let's see. Nicole Panzovsky. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole, I think it's the same question we've answered before. Yes, you can students change when we return to in-person curriculum? Again, not guaranteed. For example, we've had 2 years where the hybrid monthly section sold out, and then a bunch of people who's like, I want to come live, I don't want hybrid. Then all of a sudden their life changed and they really wanted hybrid and they couldn't get in for 2 quarters. So again, make this decision about your sections with the entire year in mind, not just the fall. How will it be possible to meet 300 plus classmates, especially in a virtual setting for LF? How can we make this effective? Oh, wow, do we have lots and lots and lots of opportunities for you to do this. We're going to have breakout rooms galore of all sorts of different ways. So you're going to get to randomly meet a lot of your classmates in a variety of settings for a variety of activities. On top of that, you're going to have game nights and social hours and, the video, the music contest. There's all this stuff happening. So you're definitely going to have, I would almost say, a bigger opportunity to meet people than if you were live.
And come to FEMBA 45 on Thursday. We'll have 100 plus people networking over lunch.
This is a good question. What is the expected increase in tuition in upcoming years? Of course, again, hard to look into the crystal balls, right? We could have inflation kick in again or something. But historically, we've had a very small percent increase for cost of living type things, although we decided this year not to do that, even though it had been approved. So I think at worst, you're going to look at that. I don't know, Bonnie, is there anything else you want to add there?
At this time, the fees are approved annually. Our program has made a great effort to keep the increases at the minimum. We consult with the dean's office, the CFO, as well as others. That's the best we can tell you. We've limited to 1 to 2% a year the last few years.
Yep, last few years it's been 1 to 2%, so it's been fairly.
So it's been very, very modest.
Can I still switch sections to Tuesday, Thursday if I have work commitments on Saturday, which is the section I got assigned to? No, but if you have work commitments on Saturday, you can't do the hybrid section. Boy, that's tough. Get on the waiting list, and we are trying to accommodate people as best as we can.
Really quickly in regards to the waiting list, everyone who was not given their first choice was automatically put on the waiting list. Feel free to reach out to us at FEMBA.admins in order to find out where you are on the wait list if you're interested in that. But everyone was automatically put on the wait list, so no need to look for that.
Yeah, and I see more questions about switching. It has always been historically difficult to switch back and forth with sections because the sections get full. So again, make that choice with the whole year in mind. When we go back to live classes in winter, and if the section Tuesday, Thursday is over capacity for the classroom size, there won't be. When we, as you know, we have this brand new building that's you can see behind me, that has 3 90-person classrooms and a 200-person classroom. So not that we're going to have 200 people in a section, but we might have 78 or 80. So if that happens, there's no problem accommodating them, and you'll be in the new building in these really, really nice classrooms. When will all class sections be locked? Will you be sending out a list of students in each class section prior to the start of classes? I don't know the logistics of that, Dylan. I don't know who on the team might best address that, or Michael.
Well, Michael and Cedric are dying for us to give them the name list because we need to assign you into your study group for fall quarter. So that's the reason for the deferral deadline around the tuition deadline. So if you're coming, pay your tuition, choose your section. If you're not coming, fill out the deferral form, let us know, because we need to know what schedule you're in so that we can get you into your study group. There's a whole bunch of the experience of Leadership Foundations that's built around A, your section, and B, your study group. So, we're kind of waiting for the class to stabilize.
And just so you know, we already have 33 people that have requested a deferral till next year. So can you imagine how big the class would be if we didn't have that? So yes, these deadlines are coming up, tuition payment and deferral deadline. And so I think that's some people are going to not come when that happens. And so we're going to know a lot more on Monday. And then we hope to put the list together and send them out by next week. Right, Michael?
I'm sorry, I missed the last part of that, Gonzalo.
No, that we'll hope to send out the study groups and all of that by the end of next week at the latest.
Yeah, we'll need to get all of the final section information and then form the groups, and then we'll definitely have it before Leadership Foundations.
Yep. Yeah, we hope to put all that together Monday and Tuesday at the latest, based on what happens on Thursday and Friday.
No, we don't.
Okay, Fen New, you had a question about the UCLA campus. Ben, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I've never been to the UCLA campus. I just wonder, like, at this time, is that possible? Like, maybe do a self-guided tour sometime next month, like in September.
Right now, I don't think they're doing self-guided tours on campus.
There's a virtual tour that's pretty good. But yes, coming to campus is the best way to see the school.
You know what, Fen? Find out at Leadership Foundations if there's any other classmates that that want to do a campus tour, and then we'll look into to see what we can do. And Miguel, cover your ears.
And I was up there yesterday, Fen. There's tons of parking because there's nobody around. The campus is incredibly gorgeous. It's over 400 acres. It's an urban park.
Yeah.
It's nestled in a little valley between West Campus and East Campus. It's gorgeous. And Anderson is iconic world-class architecture. So you're gonna, whenever you get a chance to make the visit for the first time, it's, even without the energy of the people, it's a beautiful physical setting.
Yeah. We go there to walk our dogs some Sundays, so yeah, it's just a nice place to go. But yeah, so one of the things I love to do is to give campus tours, so maybe we can arrange something secretly. Oh, there's a question about tracking the money we're using and all that. Guys, we don't like show you every line item in our budget. You know, that's not something we normally share with the students. But we are setting aside the funds, and we can give you certainly examples. And I've already given you two of what we're doing there. And so, but we need to wait and see what our budget hasn't even been approved for next year. It's in the
No,
plan.
it hasn't.
So once all of that's approved and we have a chance to see how big the class is and what and all of that, we will make announcements about some of the things that we're going to.
We try our best to support our students wherever we can. We've decoupled a lot of fees that are kind of optional, including parking since last year. So yeah, we definitely want to set aside.
I'm laughing because somebody just asked, can you mail us some more swag? Well, that could be something we can consider, sure. So total class size at this point, I'm assuming that's referring to individual class size. Like I said, probably between 70 and 80 each class. And normally it's 72 to 75. So, I mean, we're right there. Does the laptop I bring into class need to meet the technology orientation requirements? My PC meets the requirements, my laptop does not. That's tech, Itse or Cedric, I don't know if you want to talk about that. That'll be part of the tech check-in.
Can you say that one more time? I lost the second part of the question there.
Does the laptop I bring into class need to meet the tech orientation requirements? My PC meets the requirements and my laptop does not.
If you're planning to use your laptop for class, then I would say yes. So when you come into class, if you're going to bring it with you, then I would highly suggest yes. And if it doesn't meet those requirements, or if you need some help with that, you can reach out to the ACIS office and they can meet with you and work on that.
That'll be part of your tech, check-in. Okay, I'll answer maybe 2 or 3 more and then we'll knock it off for the evening because it's almost 7. If on-campus recruiting happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, how will out-of-area candidates participate? Some of that happens remotely and then you can participate remotely. And then the other thing is that you have to be here. So it is more difficult for out-of-area folks to do on-campus recruiting because those are remember, on-campus recruiting is a full-time program, not part of the FEMBA program. And many schools like Kellogg, Chicago, NYU, they don't allow their part-time students to participate in on-campus recruiting. We do, Berkeley does. But because it's a full-time focused process, you have to make your schedule available. So you might have to drive here from San Diego for a Tuesday night interview. And so it is more difficult or take days off of work to be able to do that. And I mean, I know people from San Diego, San Francisco, and Bakersfield and Fresno that have successfully done on-campus recruiting and gotten great jobs. And so but it will require being on campus perhaps sometimes during the week. And we can't control that because it's a full-time program that we're allowed to participate in. And we do reasonably well in, by the way. Aren't sections per quarter and not per year? No, they're for your entire core. And so now if life changes and you need to switch sections, you can request and we can grant. So for example, you are assigned to your study group for your first 2 quarters. So it's for the core, not just for, I think there's a lot of people thinking it's, oh, for fall I want to do this, and then in spring and winter I want to do this. No, it's for the whole year.
Yeah, and Gonzalo, we do our best in admissions to really just detract people from thinking that it's just a guarantee, because we want to set expectations low, and we do our best the third floor team, we call them the internal team, your program staff. They do their best to accommodate, but again, like Gonzalo said, it's based on it's a puzzle. So if someone else doesn't move and there's no space in where you want to go, we can't make space out of no space. So
and guys, it is like a crystal ball guessing game every year which section is going to sell out. Some years it's the Saturday sections that are selling out, and there's plenty of room in Tuesday, Thursday. Other years it's the hybrid monthly section that sells out, and then other years there's plenty of room in those. And now this year it's Tuesday, Thursday. We did look at a Monday, Wednesday schedule, but what we ended up doing, because we're remote for the fall quarter and not hybrid, is we just went with 2 Tuesday, Thursday sections. So we have 2 Tuesday, Thursday sections, which should be able to accommodate up to 160 of you. A lot of questions about the sections. Acceptance rate this year, Dylan, is that something you can share? I don't think it's that much different from other years. You're muted.
It's like 0.65 or 0.66. It's not too different than normal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's just that we had so many more applicants.
Yes, how are you?
What is the best time for specialization decisions? Melissa, are you still around?
I am still here. So for specializations, I would probably say you could definitely start setting up appointments to talk with either myself or VG or your class manager, probably around like spring quarter of your first year, because as you enter the elective phase of the program, and I'm already kind of giving you some of my thunder for my leadership foundations presentation, but I would start focusing on the specialization stuff like as you're entering into your second year. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a few questions here about the large class impacting electives. When we have a large class, we just will have more electives for you to choose from. And a lot of our electives don't sell out. There's plenty of room. So those electives will just be a little bit bigger. Also, there's a question about hybrid section. What do we typically have now, Melissa? Like 8 to 14 hybrid electives each quarter?
Yeah. And then also we offer, we partner up with the EMBA program as well. So that also gives us an additional 2 to 3 in the winter and spring quarters.
Right.
So,
in winter and spring, which is when you guys will be taking electives your second year, because in the fall you'll be in core. We will have lots and lots of electives in a hybrid format available for everyone. And what ends up happening is that more than half of the people that take those electives were not in the hybrid section. That people just find it's a really convenient way. As I had one student tell me one year, I really wanted to come every Saturday and have the networking and all that. And then like after 12 weeks of that, I'm starting to think that hybrid section is looking pretty good, So you will have that opportunity to do the hybrid. There'll be plenty of hybrid electives. I think I'm going to cut it off here. There are questions about hardship fellowships. There is no hardship fellowship program for the year. We've already allocated quite a bit of fellowship money, which was done through the admissions process. And so that has already been done. And like I said, reach out to Ji Choi and her team to find out what your options are if you're in a hardship situation where you've lost your job or something like that. And they will, be able to discuss the options with you. I have a question about trades. Can you like trade yourself? So a Tuesday, Thursday section wants to trade with the Saturday section. Can you do a trade? I don't think so. Because, we have to honor the order in which people tried to get into the sections. Second Saturday section number is section 2, right?
Yes.
Yep. You'll be eligible for global immersion starting next summer. The summer of 2021 is when you'll have the availability to do that. We expect to have several global immersions that summer, fingers crossed. And so the current students have gotten cheated out of the global immersions a little bit because we canceled the March ones and we aren't having any the remainder of the year. And we hope to have some next March, but that's iffy right now. But by the time you guys are eligible for global immersions, we should be able to kick back in full gear. So, all right, guys, I'm going to knock it off. I apologize. We're down to the 1Z, 2Z questions. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you have another question. Thank you all, Dylan. I don't know if you want to close it. Thank you, Miguel, Melissa, Bonnie, Itze, Michael, Aaron, everybody, Cedric, and G for joining us, Matt and Susan. We appreciate your patience with us. It's going to be a great program. It's going to be a great class. We're just going to be dealing with COVID and remote instruction for a little while longer.
No, I don't have anything to add. Just thanks to all the staff and faculty for all your time. And thanks to all of you. We still have 120 of you here 2 hours into this thing. I'll record it and upload it and send a link out. Yeah, it's going to be a big, exciting year. Lakers are off to a cold start. Anthony Davis is 1 for 8, but it's all going to work out. So it's an exciting year. We're grateful to be building the class of 2023. We're grateful that you're in it. And just we'll be talking some more. Big week this week.
Welcome to the FEMBA family, you guys. We're really thrilled to have you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.